I think the American people want to know. I think there's a huge level of curiosity in the press corps with respect to who was actually calling the shots.
Before we get into this topic today, give me a few seconds to talk about something that I think is very important. There is a fundraiser on this video for the National Network of Abortion Funds that I'm asking you to donate to. Whatever amount, any amount, no donation is too small. Every year, Brittany Page and I run a fundraiser during the month of June to recognize the continued fallout of the overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022. Across the country, women are still in desperate need of essential health care that they are sometimes forced to flee the state in which they live to obtain. That's where the National Network of Abortion Funds comes in. They work with nearly 100 independent abortion funds to ensure women who contact the funds have access to factual evidence-based information, but also these funds provide financial and logistical support to those who need to travel to obtain an abortion. Your donation could help them cover the cost of the procedure for someone desperately needing it, as well as the costs associated with transportation out of state if that's necessary. If you are not in a financial position to give to this fundraiser, please don't feel any pressure to do so. You can simply share this video with a friend, share information about the National Network of Abortion Funds, and try to make some people more aware of these organizations that are doing this critical work. If you can donate, I would encourage you to do so while we are running this fundraiser and trying to generate as much support for this very worthy cause as we can. Thanks. I held off on this particular clip of Jake Tapper joining Chuck Todd on the Chuck Toddcast, Toddcast. I held it yesterday. It was too hot in the studio and I was done, and I didn't do the video. And I'm glad I waited. I'm so glad I waited, because James Comer was going in to question witnesses in his new investigation looking into the Biden crime family, the autopen scandal, that the only reasons it's a scandal is because Donald Trump says it's a scandal. There's no scandal. Just like there wasn't a scandal about a loan payment written by check to Joe Biden. It just absolute distraction politics, and it works because MAGA doesn't care. MAGA will run with any narrative that is just spoon-fed them. They love it. It's calories for them. It's nutritional energy for MAGA. And the reason I'm glad I waited is because this gives us the absolute understanding of why it is so dangerous for Jake Tapper to sell out America, to join Team MAGA, to do whatever he's doing relative to trying to fish for a job over at Fox News or whatever, what kind of vendetta he has against Joe Biden. It's dangerous because it gives legitimacy, the patina of legitimacy, to the efforts of James Comer. Here's James Comer saying what he's going to say, lying his lies, distracting his distractions, and then I'm going to play like a 2-minute clip of Jake Tapper and Chuck Todd on the Toddcast really besmirching Biden and his family. Were we sold a bill of goods for 40 years that was wrong about Joe Biden? Is he not a noble and decent man who led this country out of an economic catastrophe, out of a pandemic? No, maybe he's really bad. It's nuts. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Here is James Comer, and then we'll get to the dipshits, the two journalists on the Toddcast.
I just want to make a brief statement before the transcribed interview. This is the first of what will be many interviews with people that we believe were involved in the autopen scandal in the Biden administration. We have a lot of questions to ask each witness. We will be very transparent with our investigation, like we always are with all of our investigations. As soon as we learn more, we will pass it along to you. But this is the research that's been involved in the first transcribed interview. We put a lot of staff time into this. I think the American people want to know. I think there's a huge level of curiosity in the press corps with respect to who was actually calling the shots in the Biden administration. So this is the first of many people we're going to bring in to try to get the answers for the American people. So thank you for being here, and we'll be very transparent. Thank you all.
I hope you caught that statement. I think there is a huge level of curiosity in the press corps as to who is calling the shots in the Biden administration. While Donald Trump's brain melts before our eyes, when Donald Trump can't pronounce normal words, grade school words, when he can't string together thoughts, Jake Tapper spending an hour on the Toddcast to talk about Joe Biden, someone who will never be in politics again, someone who will never run for office again. But that's the most important thing. And it gives James Comer and Republicans the ammunition they need to lie and to legitimize Donald Trump, all of the things Donald Trump says. Here is that couple of minutes from the Toddcast. And I hope you'll agree.
The original sin is Joe Biden's decision to run for re-election. When he had implicitly, not explicitly, but implicitly suggested that he would be a one-term president. And then from that decision, when he was, because he had like a reasonably not horrible midterms, even though he was not popular and most of the country thought he was on the wrong track, and most of the country was concerned he was too old to do the job. From that decision came a much shadier set of decisions, which had to do with hiding the degree to which he deteriorated cognitively, which really started getting really bad in the summer of 2023.
So for me, the original sin was running in the first place.
Oh, well, yes, I've heard you talk about this because
his family was in crisis.
Right, because his daughter and his son were addicted to drugs.
I followed that Hunter Biden trial soup to nuts. I read every single transcript. I read all of the testimony. I cannot believe to this day, Jake, that Hunter Biden, that Joe Biden did this to his kids.
So somebody close to the family
can't believe that he did it.
Somebody close to the family told us, and this is in the book, that everybody knows, some of the family aphorisms like, my word is a Biden, or, et cetera, et cetera. A lesser known Biden family saying is don't call a fat person fat. And by that, they mean it's not about politeness. It's about hiding truths, not acknowledging truths. And this person close to the family suggested that there are lots of truths that the family did not want to face up to. One, Bo is dying. Two, Hunter is addicted to drugs. Three, Joe Biden cares about his family more than he cares about anything else. And those three are not true. This person close to the family said. And that's when you talk about his running in 2020, I think that comes to bear because obviously he was putting his ambition, and if you want to be charitable, his hopes to save the country from Trumpism or whatever, obviously he was putting that above what was going on with his family and his two children and their struggles.
Look, I mean, you and I covered, for most of our professional lives, the story of Joe Biden was this guy cared about his family so much he commuted home every night from Washington.
Now, by the way,
what else you could say is this man was so ambitious that after his family went through that tragedy, he commuted every day to work. Right. Like it's the same story. It's
he had his narrative. His sister help raise his boys.
I sit here, I look at this and I think, were we sold a 40-year bill of goods?
It just got gross and dirty. Talking about Bo Biden's cancer. Look, as a cancer survivor, it's not out of bounds to talk about the fact that Joe Biden's son died of brain cancer. But it's not relevant, and it's certainly classless, wouldn't you say? And again, while the country burns, you got Jake Tapper and Chuck Todd on the Toddcast questioning the nobility. And I don't mean royal nobility, but someone who is noble, someone who is good and decent, someone who did serve his country for decade upon decade upon decade, and who has not cognitively declined. Is he missing a step or five because he's 80 years old? Yes. Was his cognition diminished to the point that he couldn't run the country and do his job? No. Does he think slower? Yes. But let me tell you, go back and look at the debates from 2016 with Donald Trump in them, and then watch any clip from today or yesterday of Donald Trump, and tell me, Jake Tapper and host of the Toddcast, tell me that Donald Trump doesn't deserve your furious writing and publishing of a book calling into question his cognition. It's a disservice to the country. It's a disservice to your protection, Jake Tapper and Chuck Todd. It's a disservice to the protection that the Constitution provides you to live and work unmolested by the government. Being a part of the free and fair press. Free press. Fair press. Because you're not getting it done now. You're ignoring. And again, I'll say it and I'll end here. I don't know why. I don't know if Jake Tapper has a vendetta. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy, but he does seem like a coward to me. He seems afraid of what could come to him damage-wise, harassment-wise from Donald Trump. Just like the rest of us, Jake. Look, it would be much easier for me to avoid all of the death threats and having my sexual violence threatened against my wife. If I was just, you know what, I was wrong. I'm so afraid. But yeah, Donald Trump's great. Donald Trump's great. I'm going to ignore all the stuff that Donald Trump that endangers our country and threatens the republic. It'd be a lot easier, a lot less to worry about. But it would be a disservice to me, to the country, to you, to future generations who I hope will live under the umbrella of liberty and justice and democracy and all of the things that we aspire to be as a country. Equality, equity, diversity, inclusion, the things that Donald Trump is trying to snuff out. And you got Jake Tapper here in the Trump camp. It's gross. It's dangerous. It's cowardice. It's sickening. Anyway, what do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always, daily@dollemore.com. If you want to help support this work, independent media right now needs your support. And if you choose me, that would be great. If there's somebody else out on this platform, if it's Farron Cousins, who the other day, somebody sent me a video of, somebody called him a dollar store Jesse Dollemore. I would be proud to be a dollar store Farron Cousins. But if he does more for you than me, he brings you value, support Farron Cousins. If it's David Pakman, support David Pakman. If it's any other creator, whether it's on this platform or another like Substack, give that person $2 a month and help them do what they do, protecting America. If it's me, great. Become a channel member, $2 a month. Click the join button. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/idoubtitpodcast. All of those are great ways to help support independent media. I invite you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.